Yes, it is. We are now on TV. So you guys got to be good. All right, this is Dawn's 2 o'clock class. We are in book number 274, 150 of the most beautiful songs ever. And our song today is called God Only Knows. It is on page 70 of the book. Now, I've heard this song a couple of times, not a ton of times, and this is really a sophisticated song. I had no idea what actually went into this one because to me it didn't seem to have much of a key center, and that's because it really doesn't. So that's why this is a more sophisticated song. 1966. It is a Baroque, not a Broke, but a Baroque styled love song distinguished for its harmonic innovation. It is praised as one of the greatest songs ever written and as the Beach Boys' finest record. Interesting. The sophistication of this song is demonstrated by its multiple contrapuntal vocal parts, which we'll get into just a little bit, not a whole lot, and the weak tonal center. Aha! I knew I didn't really hear a tonal center. Competing between the keys of E and A. We're actually going to be doing it between the keys of E flat and B flat. I don't know why they wrote them that way, but they did. That's just the way the Easy Play wrote it. It was also considered taboo to put the name God in the title or lyric of a song. Think of it. How many other songs can you think of that use the word God in the title? Right? So it was just a totally off the wall, innovative type of a thing that they really pushed themselves on this one. Wilson attributed the harmonics of the song to be influenced by such standards as, okay, so he knew the standards. This is not something he pulled out of a hat. This Stella by Starlight, recognize it? Yeah, Stella by Starlight was one of the influences for this song, for the harmonic music of the song. God Only Knows was issued as the B side, not the A side, but the B side of Wouldn't It Be Nice? Wouldn't it be nice? Bum, da, 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 da. And then this one actually was considered the more well written song and the best of their songs, believe it or not. Many songwriters have cited this song as their personal favorite song. Interesting. Including Paul McCartney and Jimmy Webb. It was ranked number 25 in Rolling Stone's 500 greatest songs of all time. Amazing. I mean, if this is a song that the Beatles wished that they had written, that's how intricate the harmonics and there's a lot of theory that I also read about the stuff that they were doing with this song that totally made it go a little bit not what our ears are used to, let's put it that way. So if you've played this song and went, I don't know if I like this song or not, it's because it's very difficult to get a handle on the melody.
Mhm.
It really is because there's no key center to kind of get into. There's actually two key centers, and it's really hard to tell what's what. So if you couldn't figure out which intro to use, no worries. I actually spent the money and downloaded the entire song from musicnotes.com so I would have the entire song, okay? Because I was just very curious as to what all the contrapuntal stuff was all about. It didn't give me as much as I thought it would, but I did get a little bit of an intro. A little bit of an intro. Okay, now those are actually full-fingered chords in the right hand, but if you put on a duet or an AOC, it'll give you that same feeling, so we can keep it a little bit easier. And if you listen to this song, what's actually in there? Stuff. These are this kind of stuff. It starts with an A major chord. Actually, see, we're doing the B flat chord, accompanied by accordions. Now, this is a rock and roll band, so you got to listen to which kind of instruments they use. Accordions, harpsichord, and French horn. Wow. I mean, we're going off the charts and with some weird stuff here. So, um, soon to be joined by the bass, tambourines, and sleigh bells. And if you listen to it, it's got those sleigh bells going on the beat. Okay, now that is the key right there to finding the perfect background or rhythm style for this song, is getting those sleigh bells actually in there. So I went right away to Jingle Jangles. So I'm going to play it, and I did some stuff with Jingle Jangles to pull stuff out and put stuff in and make it work. The hardest part of the song is when you get to page 71, the second ending takes you into that harmony contrapuntal stuff, meaning that one person is singing one part and another person is singing another part on top of each other. It's very difficult to even play something like that. So I wrote in a couple of notes, and then with the notes that are here, you can kind of figure out which one you want to play. Or if there are some places you could actually play the two of them together and kind of understand what it is. But that's where that harmonic contrapunt is coming in, where it says ooh ooh do 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 do. They're not even really singing any words until they get back to the chorus, which is, and God only knows where I'd be or what I'd be without you. So if you think about it, this is a pretty nice love song, pretty sophisticated too. But that first line just kind of puts you off because it says, I may not always love you. It's like, you don't have to tell me the truth. I may not always love you. Come on, that's not what a girl wants to hear. A girl wants to hear, I will love you forever, my darling. But it is actually, if you read the rest of the lyrics, you'll go, oh, okay. I may not always love you, but long as there are stars above you, you'll never need to doubt it. I'll make you so sure about it. God only knows what I'd be without you. Second verse, if you should ever leave me, not if I would ever leave you, but if you ever leave me, well, life would still go on, believe me. The world could show nothing to me, so what good would living do me? God only knows what I'd be without you. And then it goes into this do to do to do, oh, 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 and they do this contrapuntal. You really have to listen to it in order to understand what they're doing there. And then it goes back to another verse. And it's the second verse gets repeated again. God only knows what I'd be without you. So, hey, that says a lot. But that first line just kind of put me off, I'll tell you what. Somebody ever said, I may not always love you, but hey, I'll love you now. Really? That's not what I want to hear. I'm going to play it for you, and I'll give you some other ideas. This was the hardest part of the song, was finding, oh, here comes Louise, finding a rhythm that works with this song. Because it's pop music, it's a rock and roll band, but it's totally sophisticated. It's a sophisticated song. So let's give it a try and see if we can even do this. and fade it out. We're going to do a repeat and fade there because that's part of where that contrapuntal um, comes in, where they're doing like a round, like a row, row, row your boat type of a thing, where one guy sings, God only knows what I'd be without you. And then the next guy comes in. So they're kind of doing it as a round, and they end the song that way. And so you can just fade that out. Okay, is it an easy song to play? No, it's not. Especially that middle part. Especially that middle part. But did you hear where it just didn't seem to really have a tonal center because it's meant to be that way. It's absolutely meant to be that way. The one line that everybody remembers in this song is the chorus. God only knows what I'd be without you. Right? Okay. Any questions? Do you like the song? Not like the song? I'm kind of curious to know what you guys think of this song. Have you ever heard the song before?
No. Yes, no.
Yes, no? You've heard
Just
it?
like,
Yeah.
no.
Of course,
Didn't really
it's the
pay
Beach
attention to it?
Boys. It's the Beach Boys. Everybody's heard.
Yeah, it's the Beach Boys. It's a beautiful song. But to
Beautiful.
get all the accolades that it got surprised me. That the Beatles
Yeah.
wanted, oh gosh, I wish I would have
Yes.
written that song.
Well, it was Brian Wilson. He was amazing.
Yes, absolutely. And
In
absolutely.
spite of his mental illness, he was amazing.
Well, he was a musical genius, is what he
Yeah,
was.
he was.
Dawn, what was the lower instrument on the lower keyboard?
This is a flute.
Yeah. Okay.
That's a flute. Yep.
Thing.
So I did struggle with this one. I struggled to find the correct background. Jingle Jangles at 108 worked on this. I have notes all over this page because I thought, all right, we're going to try and fix this so that it can work on, what if you don't have Jingle Jangles? You have to do something else. How about sleigh bells? Okay, well, if you go to sleigh bells comes up like this.
No.
That doesn't sound at all, does it?
No.
Because what's going on with the sleigh bells?
Needs a horse.
I took out the Genie and the York Plus, but the sleigh bells are going too fast,
Yeah.
right? So what do we do when we're going double time? Cut the tempo in half. So instead of 108, we're going to cut it down to 54. Okay. Now you got the sleigh bells on the beat, which is exactly what you're looking for. So now you could actually use this, but you don't want all that stuff. So you're going to have to pull at least the Orc Plus you're going to have to pull. You might get away with doing just your chord and your bass and drums because the sleigh bells is actually in the drums on this. It's considered a percussive instrument. It's found in that drums. If I take the drums out, the sleigh bells disappear. So that's where it is. It's in those drums. Okay, so now if I were to play, I would have to have those sounds. I would have to find a flute. And I've got flute with a duet. Okay, so that would work. So if you take your sleigh bells, take out your Genie and your Orc Plus, and you might want to add your Genie back in or your basic, depending on which instrument you have. You might want to add that back in, and I'll go through and tell you exactly what I did. I didn't write everything down as far as I did not make a preset sheet for this one.
How about Dream Kiss?
Dream Kiss will work. I do have a star by that one. That one would actually work.
What's Dream Kiss under?
It's a ballad.
Okay.
I don't have it on this one, so I can't use it. It's not on. Dream Kiss is not on the Imperial, so I can't go to that one on this one.
It's not on song setup anymore?
No, this is not on song setup. No, not at all.
Really?
That's why this was so hard. It was so hard to find something. So I'm looking for things that what would other instruments have? Yeah, Dream Kiss on the larger instruments works. Basic country, yeah, you might get away with it, but you're not going to get those sleigh bells. And you know, sleigh bells actually come on a long stick where you've got the bells all around it, and that's what they used in orchestras to shake your sleigh bells. Sometimes you can get it here, but guess what? You do not want it in your toy box. Oops, not the crickets, where you would just be going pung, pung. You'd have to hire somebody to go pung, ping, ping, ping on every beat for your entire song if you wanted to put sleigh bells.
If you use jingle jangles, there's kind of a
The jingle jangles, it's
jingle.
there. Yeah,
It's-
it's in. That's why I use
kind of-
jingle jangles.
Yeah, I like
because
that.
it's there.
Yeah. Yeah, because you can hear the jingle in the background. Yeah.
That's also in the drums. Also, jingle jangles and sleigh bells both have it in the drums. You can hear it.
What is
That's the
Jingle
one I
Jangles
eventually went
under?
to.
What is Jingle Jangles under?
Jingle Jangles is under Broadway.
Right.
Oh, okay.
And if you can't find it, don't forget, always go to your style list and look for it there.
Right.
Those of you that have the style list, that's the easiest way to do it, is just go alphabetically and go to the J's and go Jingle Jangles.
It's
Where are
easier
ya?
to ask you.
Oh,
Always easier.
Oh,
But
you guys
jingle
are funny.
jingle isn't so Christmassy.
yeah, it does make it sound a little bit Christmassy.
No,
I
yeah, but it's
also
not
tried roses. I thought, okay, what else is going to give me that? So I went to Soft and Easy Roses at 108, and that gave me, okay, because you want to see where all the work that I did on this, just looking
Yes.
for the right one. Hear that? It's every
Yep.
beat, which is what you're looking for. So now I went to Edit Style, and that's actually in the piano genie or the basic part, and I scrolled to try to find sleigh bells or something similar. There's actually nothing similar. I'm scrolling right now. Yeah. I went through everything. Extra soft mallet is okay. Icicles was okay. That's soft new age. That's not bad. So if you don't have jingle jangles or sleigh bells, at roses at 108, but now what you have to do is you have to find a sound. You have to go into your edit style. You're going to turn off your Orchestra Plus, and you have to touch the middle part where it gives you, it's going to come up as a piano. And then you have to scroll until you find a sound that is going to hit on every single beat like that piano was doing. Because you're looking for that sleigh bells type of a sound. And you're not going to find sleigh bells because it's not in your list of sounds. It's in the drums. So that's why it's so hard to find the perfect background. What happens if you have an easy 10 or an easy 4 or a freedom 3? I did look for you.
Liberty.
I did look for you on that. Oh, here comes Charlene. Okay, an easy, and on the easies, your standard guitar is called, that works pretty well. It's not going to give you anywhere near what the sleigh bells gives you or anything like that, but it comes close. So if you put on your flutes and put on a duet, it will come close. On the Freedom 3, if you go to your standard, go to your swing time. Swing time gives you, because what you're looking for is just something that's going to give you one per beat on something in your background. So that actually worked pretty well. And again, I liked the flutes. Now, a lot of times when you get Beach Boys, they pull up the vocals. Bob Curry or Bill Curry always put the vocals in when the Beach Boys or the Bee Gees, he'd always have vocals here, or ABBA, the Dancing Queen comes up with vocals. It's very difficult to make your vocals sound right if you're playing them and make them sound right. So that's why I thought, okay, what else can be used? I tried a saxophone, which is the instrument that's considered the closest to the human voice. And actually, because they were using such a soft voice, I figured, okay, let's try the flute. And that seemed to be the one that I settled on. Now, don't worry, you can always go to a softer organ sound. You can never go wrong with a good organ sound, by the way. But because this song is so light, because you've got those sleigh bells going, you don't want to get too heavy with your sounds. That's why I did not go to any of the other horns. I did change some stuff up so that it would be a little bit more, there's 3 verses. You got to do something a little different. So I used piano strings on top, and flute, which is Jingle Jangles, and I can't remember which. It's not 0. Okay, it's number 2. It's Jingle Jangles, rhythm preset, vintage number 2. A regular, normal number 2. Piano and strings on top, and I did use that for the second verse. And then I had the flute on the bottom with a duet. And if you've got the harmony on your lower keyboard, you want it to be on duet. Make sure that goes on there.
Daun, what for the second time? Where what kind of background rhythm do you can
Same
you
one.
use? Huh?
Same one. But when I went back the second time, I added the orchestra plus. No, I didn't. I'm sorry. I take that back. Hold on. On the first verse, when I just have the flutes, I have on Jingle Jangles with no genie and no orc plus. No genie, no orc plus. So, and I'm on auto bass 2. Auto bass 2 gives me a little different bounce and the drum variation. So I really tried playing which bass player, which drummer do I want. But no genie, no orc plus for verse 1. Is it perfect? No, but it's the closest that I could get to the original. Okay, then the second verse, I added the genie or the basic. So I have this extra. That's for the second verse. And I put my hand on the upper keyboard. So I did not change presets. I still have my flutes down here. I just went to the upper keyboard to get a different sound. And I have a duet on for that as well. And then the third verse.
Would you want to play that, like if you're on the piano, would you want to play that louder?
Not necessarily.
I mean, so you don't want to emphasize the second verse.
Why?
I'm saying, do you want to emphasize it or not emphasize it?
Well, all the verses are pertinent, so yeah, you just want to make it a little different. So that's why I added the genie instead of just having the bass, the drummer, your sleigh bells player, your hum, which is your chord, and then your flutes for the melody. Then for the second verse, put your genie on, which adds this. Then I went to the upper keyboard, which was piano strings. And I played the bridge, okay? So I played the bridge, which is the ooh, ooh, do, do, do's. Yeah. And I'm adding a few extra notes in there. And I'll tell you what they are. And then you can pick and choose which ones you want to play. Then when I went back to the third verse, I changed to an acoustic guitar. With string 16 and a duet. acoustic guitar, strings 16, and a duet. That may have been one of the presets. I don't remember. So check and see if it's one of your presets in Jingle Jangles. Then when you go to the coda, you're going to go back to the first one that you used for verse 1. No genie, no orc plus, and the flute on the bottom. But that Jingle Jangles just gives you that bounce. And I liked the auto bass 2 better because it kept the bounce going. So these are things you have to kind of watch. Watch your 2 basses, try them. Watch your 2 drummers, try your drummers and see which one you like the best for the song.
You know, you said you used Rhythm Preset 2 Vintage. Was that what we should go to on that?
Yes, that's what's going to give you the piano strings on top and the flute on the bottom.
Okay.
Yep. Any questions so far? This was a tough song to put together. It really was. I'm not going to lie to you.
Dawn,
Yes.
I went down on the lower keyboard on a flute, and I got all the way to the first ending, and then I went from that on the page 71, the last measure. There's an A, and then you go down to an F and back up to a G. But when I hit an F, that's where the split is, I guess, because when I hit that,
Yes. Yeah.
So what?
Yeah.
Can you? You know what I mean? The split.
I know exactly what you're saying. Yeah. If you're on the
at the
lower
F.
keyboard.
Yeah.
Now, if you're playing it here, you're going to run into the chords because the G is the last one. Now,
Right.
you probably will never come up and use that F. That's actually a good point. I was playing it an octave higher.
Oh, you
Now,
were?
how did I do it an octave higher? I probably went to my solo sound, or the sound where my flute is going, and put it on lower octave. If you have the capability of hitting lower octave, because you don't want it to sound up here.
Right,
That's
exactly.
too high. So
Yeah.
I touched the lower octave key over here. See? I touched the lower octave key. Then I can play it up an octave.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Okay,
So-
that'll work. Now, you can do it a different way. If you don't do that and you play it an octave lower instead of playing it up here, now
Yeah.
you have to change your split.
Yeah, right.
You know how to change your split.
No.
For those of you that are playing, and if you ever run out of keys on the bottom
Yeah.
keyboard, your split is always going to be on that F sharp right in the middle. That is the last chord. And then the G is your first note. Okay, so if you want to play something where you can go below that, 'cause let's face it, are we ever really going above the B over here? No, we're not.
Mm-hmm.
So we're going to go to feature clear until we get all our little menu in here, levels, tuning, sustain lengths, and I'm going to scroll until it says set split. Set split. It's on page 7 in the Imperial. So you want to see where it says set split. Touch it. And now it'll say the split is F sharp 3.
Okay.
F sharp 1, F sharp 2, F sharp 3. And because that's where the split is. If I want to make sure it's below, you want to play the F, so you want to make sure you pick something below the F. So you could
What
pick
would
the E or you could pick the D. So the first one you touch, it now changes that to D3, because I just happened to touch that one. Now,
What is the
touch
3?
your feature clear and get out of it immediately. Touch
Okay.
your feature clear and get out of that window immediately, because the next thing you touch will change it again. So
Okay.
if you are changing the split, the first key you touch is going to be the last chord that is played. So now the D should be my last chord, and then I should start on E flat. So I can go all the way down to the E flat in this case.
Okay, no, that's
One.
But it's easy. I found it easier to just go up and find your lower octave button
mm-hmm.
and push
Okay.
the lower octave so that instead of being so high,
Oh, yeah, okay, yeah,
see?
right,
To me, that was easier. But you
Yeah.
do it whichever way works for you.
yeah.
And now, when you turn that off, it's gone.
Correct.
When you-
Correct. Unless you save it into a preset.
Okay.
Yes. It'll always go back to what it was. So you have to remember. If you're just taking notes on what you're doing, you have to remember. But if you, this holds true for every song. If you're down here and it's too high, and
Yeah, so-
it hurts your ears,
Yeah.
yeah. Then you want
So
to
you-
go to the lower octave, find your lower octave key.
Okay.
Okay? And that brings it into the right spot.
So do you need the lower octave key light on or off?
Yes, on.
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 Oh, it is on.
Dawn.
It also depends on where that sound is coming from. That could make a difference too. If it's coming from your red section, you don't have a lower octave key.
Well,
Yes,
there's
go
a
ahead.
lower button here and the light's on.
Mhm. It's
What
gonna.
song are we doing?
We are on God Only Knows, which is page 70.
Okay.
Wait, she's dedicated. She's in her car.
Oh,
Charlie, I think. She looks like she's in her car.
well,
That is dedication. She said it's traffic light.
yeah, Charlene, I hope that was you speaking because I see your hand is up here. And I don't always get a chance to see that. So yeah, just unmute yourself and yell at me. And yep, but we're doing God Only Knows by the Beach Boys on page 70. Now I do want to, before we go on, I do want to change some chords. Change some chords, add some chords. Okay, and
Of
like
course, because you can.
well, I spent the money to get it off of Music Notes because this song intrigues me. It intrigues me. It's very sophisticated. There's a lot to this song that we won't even know about with the chords because we're doing easy play chords. And easy play chords, when you play an easy play F chord, it's going to put the F in the bass. And see, and they were playing chords and putting a whole different note in the bass. If they were playing an F chord, they'd have the C in the bass or the A in the bass. A different note they were playing it in different inversions, and
You
so
know,
the bass line was different. That's why it's so hard to pick a background on this to really make it work.
in that first line, you got a C minor 6.
Yeah.
But every once in a while, when I hit that, it comes up on the screen as C6.
Then you're not hitting the E flat.
Right.
Apparently, I guess, huh?
Yeah. If it's coming up C6, then you're playing an E instead of an E flat.
Sometimes it comes up, with a C minor 6,
Mhm.
but not, no, sometimes just C6.
Well, then you're not hitting the E flat. That's all that is.
Oh, okay.
Watch your fingers. Your arthritis is getting to you.
I know.
I can say that to you and not offend you, Ken. I know.
I know that.
Yep. All right, so let's do some extra chords. The E flat is good. The C minor, as Ken said, we can put a 6 on it if you wish. Remember, 6s have to be played in root position. And it is a 4-fingered chord. So if you don't want to play it, don't worry about it. Just play C and E flat and you'll be fine. Because the difference in the sound is this. Let me turn this off. Here's a C minor, C and E flat. The C minor 6 is C, E flat, G, and A. There's a little bit of a difference there, but not a lot. C minor, C minor 6.
Don't even hardly hear anything.
Yeah, it's a very subtle difference. So you decide if you want to even play it.
What were you using when you played it for us?
I played the C minor 6 because it's pretty
Of course you did, but that was a
Yeah.
dumb play.
I don't always play them. On the next line, there's a G minor, and if you wish, over the B flat 8th note, beat 3, you may put a G minor 9. I don't always play it because it's hard to get to. Okay, that's a four-fingered chord as well. If you're playing G minor, pointer and thumb, G and B flat, the G minor 9 is F, G, A, B flat. F, G, A, B flat. Be careful, because if you touch a different note, you're going to end up with a no chord. If you bump this other black note, you're going to end up with a no chord. So be very careful with the G minor 9, or just play G minor. Not that
When
big.
we did this before, John, I had a G minor 7. Would you
Yeah, you
use
can
it?
try a G minor 7 if you want to.
Oh, okay.
I got the G minor 7 on the word long.
I know, Ken, because we did this before. But I changed everything because like I said, I got the original. I downloaded the
Okay.
original.
Well, that's good to know that you did that.
So the C or C7 is good. All right, now, next line. The F is good. You may play B flat, or a better chord is a C sharp diminished. You can do that with 2 fingers. C sharp diminished is C sharp and G. Here's the B flat. Here's the C sharp diminished. Okay?
Yep.
It gives it a better flavor. Next line, the F is good. You can play the G7 if you wish, but a better chord is, you may not want to play it, it's a B minor 7 flat the 5th. Woohoo! B butterfly, D dinosaur, F fish, and A alligator. So instead of G7, okay, give it a try. Oops, somebody's echoing me here. All right. Let's go to the next page. This is where your chorus starts. God only knows what I'd be without you. That's it. That's the chorus. That's the whole chorus. The B flat's good. The F is good. The G minor in line 2, you may put on a 7. First ending, the F chord is good for 2 counts. Beat 3 is a G minor, and beat 4 is an A flat. So you've got the F. Let me go back to here. F, G minor, A flat, E flat. It just kind of brings it back to that key center. And then there's some notes underneath it that I'll give you too, but they're optional, completely optional. It's just extra notes to kind of get you bouncing along. Why? Because it's in the original, so I just wrote them in. Second ending, the B flat is good for 2 counts. Beat 3 is a G minor, and beat 4 is a B flat. Now, the next measure, we are going to cut it into 2 measures. So after that half rest, between the half rest and the quarter rest, cut that measure in half. And yes, it's going to have an A flat for both measures, so the chord's going to stay the same, but you're going to have some extra notes. So if I start at the second ending, it's going to sound like this. And I'll give you these as well. Let's try this again. 1, 2, 3.
Whoa.
Okay, so it's just going to we're going to have a little bounce in there. Just a little bit of a bounce, and that's where all this do-do-be-do-be-do-be-do-be stuff comes in, where the guys start singing in counterpoint. So then in that second measure, the second part of that measure that we're writing in, you're going to put a half rest and a quarter rest in front of the E flat. So what I did is I put a half rest where the quarter rest now is. Half rest, remember, is that little hat that sits on top of the B flat. It's the rectangle sitting on top of the B line. And then I put a quarter rest next to that. So the E flat is coming in on beat 4. So I'm just adding that extra. Now, if you don't feel like doing that, just play it the way it is and it'll be fine.
So
No,
Dawn,
what's under the A flat?
And they're
Yeah.
both measures are on the A flat. Yes, the A flat works for then both those measures.
okay, and what are the notes in the, under that A
Well,
flat?
I'll tell you because I've got a bunch
Okay.
of extra notes. Let's just work on the chords right now.
Okay,
All right, the third measure, which is the second measure that's printed, the third measure according to us, is an F minor. It sounds better if you play an F diminished or an F diminished 7. F diminished is F and B butterfly. So you're going to have an A flat, then that F diminished is F and B. And if you wanted to play an F diminished 7, it's D, F, A flat, B. Dinosaur, fish, flat alligators, and butterflies. But you can play that with 2 fingers, no worries. The C minor is good for 2 counts over the E flat. C minor 7, of course that's optional.
D or B minor?
C minor.
Oh, C minor.
Yeah, the C minor in line 3, you're going to just add a 7 to it for beat 3. That's why it's optional, because you're already on a C minor, so it doesn't matter. Next line, no changes. The last line on that page, instead of an F, I want you to play an F sharp diminished or a C diminished, whichever one reads the best. It's going to be F sharp and C or C and F sharp, doesn't matter.
Where?
Instead of the F in the last line.
Oh,
Okay, so if you're playing it with the F, it sounds like this. If you're playing it with the F sharp diminished, it sounds like this. It just makes it sound a little bit nicer. The B flat's fine. Go ahead.
no, I was gonna say, you said an F sharp diminished or what?
Or a C diminished. It's the same chord. If an F sharp, it's always the letter plus 6. So if you do F sharp plus 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, F sharp and C, or C and F sharp.
Oh, okay, so
Yeah, it's the
another
same.
F
Oh
F
my
sharp
God.
diminished is the same
Yeah.
as C diminished.
Yep. Yep.
Got it.
The B flat's good, and at the end of the line, if you want to play G minor, that's fine. Or you may play a C sharp diminished, which is C sharp and G. C sharp and G. So remember, again, 6 apart. C sharp plus 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Top of the page, third page. E flat is good. The B flat is good. You may put a 7 on the C minor. And that's it as far as changes, as far as chords. Now, I want you to cross out the last 2 measures of the coda. And at the end of the first measure, at the bottom, you're going to put repeat dots. And then you're going to take those last 2 measures and throw them away. So the repeat dots are going to go back to line 3, right in the middle of the page without. And it's actually cutting the word in half. Okay? So right in the middle of the page, you're going to put your repeat dots facing forward. And that way you're going to go back and forth between the dots at the bottom of the page to the right in the middle of the page, and you're just going to repeat and fade out, and it's going to sound like this. Repeat. Repeat again until you fade out. Just play it as many times as you want until you fade out.
So, Dawn, you said that, what did you tell us to take out in the second line where it says coda?
Nope, you're going to take out the
No.
last two measures of the whole song.
That
The
is
last two
that
measures
where
of the song, you're going to just cross out and throw them away.
the last two measures of the entire song are the ones
Correct.
where you said put the repeat dots, no?
Nope, you put the repeat dots at the end of the first measure.
Oh.
Yeah.
And
So those last three notes, the F half note, the G half note, and the F whole note, you're going to cross those out and throw them away.
okay, so your repeat dots are after the first measure in the
Correct.
last one.
Correct.
Okay,
Uh-huh.
all right.
Yep. Good question. All right, you want those extra notes.
Yes.
Now, the first change that I made as far as playing the song was actually on the first page, fourth line. I'll make you so sure about it. For some reason, Hal Leonard decided to put a quarter rest in there, and there really isn't. You should go right from the F to the A. That A should be on the first beat. So cross out that quarter rest.
Okay, well then if you cross it out, you don't have 4 beats in there.
You will have 4 beats because you're going to play it like 4 beats. You're going to cross out the flag in between the A and the D, and you're going to put a dot on the A and make it a dotted quarter note.
Okay.
Then put a single flag on the D and a single flag on the E, and then put a dot on the F. Now you have 4 counts.
Okay.
So that whole last line sounds like this. All right, let's play it right. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
I'll make you so sure about it.
Mm-hmm.
Same thing on the second verse. You're going to do it again. So what good would living do me? You're going to skip that rest and just go right into it. Skip that rest and just go right into it.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
All right, let's go to page 2, the first ending. If you want to add extra notes instead of having a rest in the first and second endings, I'm going to put some extra notes in there. Now you can completely skip these if you want. So the first ending, there's that measure with the first ending. You're going to have an F on the first space. Make it a dotted quarter note. An A underneath, 2 lines below the staff. Make it an 8th note. A B flat right next to it. Make it an 8th note. And a C on the first line below the staff. Make that a dotted quarter note. And that's the way that's going to sound. F, A, B flat, C. Second ending, you're going to have a low D right underneath the staff, quarter note. Then you're going to have a high D on the 4th line, quarter note. Then you're going to have an 8th rest, a B flat quarter note, and a D 8th note. B flat is right in the middle.
Once more, please.
Pardon?
More time, please.
One more time. It's a low D quarter note right below the staff. The octave above it on the 4th line, D quarter note. An 8th rest. You're crossing out that half rest. An 8th rest. Then a B flat quarter note. B flat is right on that 3rd line. Then go back up to the D and make it an 8th note. And again, play it the way you feel it. You want to make up some of your own notes, that works too. Now here's where it gets kind of tricky, is on that first measure. Remember, we're dividing that next measure into 2. The first measure, and you have to write in in the measure. Don't start right where it is. Right over in the measure. You won't have in the margin, or you won't have enough room. C on the third line, which you're going to be off in the measure. An eighth rest. Then a B flat eighth note. B flat is on that middle line. Then you're going to have 4 eighth notes in a row going down. A flat on the second space. G on the second line. F in the first space. And E flat on the first line.
The chromatic.
It's a B flat. It's C, B flat, A flat, G, F, E flat. Not quite chromatic. Not quite chromatic, almost.
What is,
Who's quacking?
could
That's
you
pretty-
repeat, Dawn, would you just repeat those notes again?
C on the third space as a quarter note. Then do an eighth rest. Then do a B flat on the third line. Then as an eighth note. Then do 4 eighth notes in a row. A flat, G, F, E flat. And in the next measure, I already told you, cross out the quarter rest. Make it a half rest. Then put the quarter rest right next to it. Then play the E flat. At the end of the line, instead of the low G, it's going to be easier if you make it a C on the third space. They've got you doing this. If you can reach it, go for it. I found it easier to play the C. And I also found it easier to skip the G, F, E flat on the next line, play the C, and then immediately do an F on the first space, a G on the second line. Underneath the G, the high G that's printed, put an A on the second space. I know that's hard because there's a lot of black printing in there. And underneath the F, put a B flat on the third line. And if you want to play that together, go ahead, but I found it easier to just play my lower notes.
Can you show that?
I can. All right. C, F, G, A. There's a lot of black printing there, so it's kind of hard. That's right. It's supposed to be right under the G. B flat, C. F, G, A, B flat, C. It's actually easier to play that. And then the next line, you can play the B flat, put a B flat right under the D. Do another B flat, and then do a B flat under the F. And if you can probably play those two notes at the same time, because that's pretty easy. And that will give you the illusion of having that counterpoint, two singers singing at once.
So are you keeping in the G, F, and E flat?
G, F, and E flat. If you can play it, play it. I can't seem to reach it and get it at the same time fast enough. So I'm skipping those 3 notes.
Oh, okay.
Okay? Because if you can, go for it, because that's part of that that contrapuntal harmony that they're doing. And when you listen to it, you go, oh, okay. It's just hard to play. So pick one of the lines. Either do the low line that I just wrote in or the high line that's already there. Pick one.
Dawn, the one you wrote in is F, G, A, B flat,
C.
C?
Uh-huh.
C.
Yep. Easier to play. And remember, you're bouncing on these. The next line, under the C, put an A. You can play those together. Under the D in the next measure, a B flat. That's it. That's it. That's a tough section.
It is.
It's tough just the way it's written, but it's even tougher if you try to play two parts at once. So this kind of gives it a little bit of an illusion that you have two there. Just having a couple of two-note things in there gives you just that illusion that you've got that two-part harmony going. Right?
Mhm.
Kind of.
Mhm.
And that's it. That's it as far as the extra notes. So good luck with that. Or just ignore them and play what's there, you know? Interesting song. Very interesting song. The
Good
more I
song.
got into it, the more it stuck in my head, too. And I'm like, wow. I heard this once on American Idol. I think Adam Levine, or maybe it was The Voice, Adam Levine was doing it with some of his people that he was coaching. And I thought, that's a ridiculous hard song for these people to be doing. And they were doing it all in this kind of stuff. I thought, how did they just memorize a song? Because I still could not hear any tonal center. I would have a tough time if I had to sing this in a very short amount of time. But the more I listened to it, the more it stuck. I will do fingering if you need it. Next week, it's Good Morning Heartache by Billie Holiday. Diana Ross also did it. Unless you guys want to skip it.
Oh, no, that's a great song.
Okay, then let's do it. Let's do it. Nobody's objecting. It's a jazz type of a song. Jazz type of a song. Okay.
Oh, no, I think it's a good
You
song.
guys are awesome. If those of you that did not get invitations to the Liberty show/showcase, and the only reason you would not have gotten one is because it is being offered for sale. There are several of them in Florida, and we are offering it for sale. So if you had your heart setting on getting a gorgeous Liberty, you want to see the show. Or you might want to call me beforehand and make sure you buy it before we even get to the show. And if you need an invitation, email me, and I'll be sure to forward you the link on Wednesday. That's going to be a 4 o'clock Florida show. And it's
That's
gonna
2058 at
yeah,
Fletcher.
yeah.
Thank you.
Yep. 2 o'clock Arizona, or is it 1 o'clock? It's at 1 o'clock Arizona. I think it's 2 o'clock Montana time or Idaho time. I could be wrong on that too. I know it's 3 hours earlier if you're in Arizona. Or if you're in Chicago area, it's 1 hour earlier. So it would be 3 o'clock.
4 o'clock Florida.
4 o'clock Florida, yes. Wednesday. Wednesday. I'll be showcasing all the new stuff. Yeah. So join us for that. Also, I know there's some workshops this week. Check your emails. Make sure you get in on the workshops that are for your particular instrument. There's little ones, there's big ones. So, check them out. Carrie's doing one. I think Sean's doing one this week. And for those of you who live in the Villages or nearby areas, we are having our very first ever in-store concert, and it will be patriotic songs on Saturday at 1 o'clock in honor of Independence Day. So you're all welcome to come to that. Trying to get back to normal the best we can. There really is no normal anymore, is there? You guys are so awesome. Thank you so much. We'll see you again next Monday or in other classes. Thank you so much for attending class. If you need your fingering, hang around. We'll figure that out.
Thank you, Dawn.
You guys are
We
welcome.
have fingering from the last time. It would probably be similar, right?
Yes, if you had fingering from the last time, it will be the same.
Yes.
You don't have to stick around for it.
Hey, thank you so much, Dawn.
Thank you, Dawn. You did a
Dawn?
great job.
Yes,
with that.
Dottie.
I have a question that has nothing to do with the song, but
Okay.
has to do with Georgia on My Mind.
Uh-huh.
You didn't put You didn't do an intro or an arrangement for George on Your Mind, did you?
No, I did embellishments for that.
Okay,
Extra handout, and it was all embellishments because we were doing grace notes and glissandos and gliding and all the extra. I had a whole sheet full of embellishments.
okay. Because I looked online, I didn't see anything except that. I mean, I saw the
Yeah.
embellishment, but
Yeah, we did not do, no, because we did that, we did not do anything with introductions. There really is no introduction on that, and I think
No.
there's a separate intro that's like about 3 pages long, but not necessarily something that I could have actually written out.
okay, thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. Okay, so here we go for fingering. Pencils out, E flat 4, D3, E flat 4, D3, C2, G1, C3. Next line, B flat 2, B flat 2, A1, B flat 2. D can either be 3 or 1 with a circle, depending on if you can stretch up to it or if you need the thumb tuck. C5, B flat 2, C3, D4. If you want to put a 1 on the B flat and do 1, 2, 3, that works also. Pretty much wherever your fingers go to get there. Next line, F4, E3, F4, G5. And again, you have a choice. B flat can be 1, C2. This D is a D flat. I forgot to tell you guys that is a change and make it a 3. D flat, not a regular D, it's a D flat. Next line. Again, 2 different sets of fingering. You can do F4, F4, E3, F4, or you could do 3, 3, 2, 3, whichever finger gets there first. The A is a 5. D1, E2, F3. All right, top of the page, D2, C1, D2, C1, F4, C1, B flat 3, A2, F1, G4. Now I did not put fingering on this other part. Let's see, you're going to have to do a hand lift, so put a check mark. Do a F5, A1, B flat 2, C3. That works. Second ending, the notes that I wrote in, D1, high D5, B flat 3, D5, C4, B flat 3, A flat 2, G1, F3, A flat 2, and the 3 needs to be circled because it's a crossover, or whichever fingers you can get there first. The E flat that's printed is an E flat 2, F3, B flat 5, G4, C1, D2, E flat 3, F4, E flat 3. If you're doing a C, make it a 1 or a 2, doesn't matter. Either one. Or if you're doing the low G, definitely make it a 1. The next line, you should still be on the C if you went to the C, so either a 2 or a 1. Now, your F, A, B, F, G, A, B flat C, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right up the line. If you're doing the G, E, and G, F, and E flat, it's going to be 5, 4, 3. The D can be a 2, the B flat is a 1. The F is a 4, E flat 3, D2. If you're doing a C and an A at the same time, you are going to have to pick up your fingers and do 3 and 1. If you're just coming down the line to hit the C, make it a 1. D2, E flat 3, F sharp 5, F natural 4. Watch that. E flat 3, D2, and the B flat underneath it is a 1. All right. E flat 4, D3, C2, C2, yes. B flat 1. There's another way to do it, but this works the best. G5. Third page, B flat 1, G4, F3, G4. F3, B flat 5, F3, E flat 2, D1. B flat 2 with the circle, you're crossing it over, C3. Coda. D2, C1, D2. Next line, C1, F4, C1, B flat 3 with a circle, it's a crossover, A2, F1. D can either be 2 or 3, but in any case, C is a 1 and the next D is a 2. C1, F4, C1, B flat 3 with a circle, A2, F1. The high D can be a 2 or a 3, and then the C is definitely a 1, and then the next D is a 2. G1, F4, C1, B flat 3 with a circle, A2. And then you're going to go back up and repeat the middle of the page. Questions? Kind of an interesting song, and it is a little more on the difficult side. But if you really like the song, you know, listen to Beach Boys do it. It is a Brian Wilson song. He was a musical genius. He really, really was. So pretty cool. Next week we'll do Good Morning Heartache, and you guys are awesome. Thank you.
Thank you, thank you. See you Wednesday.
All right, sounds like a plan. Bye, everybody.